In this video I'm going to teach you all about the MIXOLYDIAN mode, so stay tuned. Hey there, this is James for James Shipway Guitar, and welcome to my video on the MIXOLYDIAN mode. Now this video is one of the videos in my Essential Scale series on my YouTube channel, and if you want the lesson notes for it with the tab, scale diagrams and so forth, you can click on the link right underneath this video and I'll email you a copy of that. Okay, but let's get started. The MIXOLYDIAN mode. What is it? What do we use it for? First of all, let's think about the word mode, because for a lot of guitar players this sends up warning signs and they get a bit nervous. Now think of the word mode as another name for a scale. So let's think of the MIXOLYDIAN mode as just a MIXOLYDIAN scale. Let's have a look at the scale fingering, and I'm going to show you how to play C MIXOLYDIAN. So I'm going to start off up at the 8th fret on the E string. I'm going to play 10 on the E string. I'm going to play 7, 8, 10 on the A string. I'm going to play 7, 8, 10 on the D string. I'm going to play 7, 9, 10 on the G string. I'm going to play 8, 10, 11 on the B string. And I'm going to play 8, 10, 12 on the top E string. So that's the scale fingering, but what do we do with it? Well, if we take a careful look at the notes that scale contains, we see that the sound outlines or fits the sound of a C7 chord. Let's take a quick look at that. We've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, and C. Now if you don't know those notes on the guitar fretboard there, that doesn't matter too much. I just want to explain the theory behind it. So if we take those 7 notes and we take the first note, the third note, the 5th note and the 7th note, we get the notes C, E, G and B flat. Now those notes are the notes in a C7 chord. So we can see that this scale contains all the notes in a C7 chord. And to put it quite simply, this means that the scale will go with the sound of a C7 chord. So what are you going to do with it? Well, let's say you had to solo on a C7 chord. You could improvise using the notes in C MIXOLYDIAN and they will fit just fine. And that's what you heard me doing at the start of this lesson, except I was playing E MIXOLYDIAN over an E7 chord. But you could hear that the sound of the scale fitted with the chord, and it has a kind of a sweet, bluesy kind of sound to it. The proper name for a C7 chord is C dominant 7th, because it comes from the dominant chord family, okay, which is just like a family or a type of chord, just like major and minor are. Now, C MIXOLYDIAN will go with a C dominant 7th chord, but will also go with other chords within that C dominant chord family, like C9 or C11 or C13. Now if you don't know any of these chords, you never heard of them, that's fine, it really doesn't matter. It's just if you are familiar with those sounds and maybe you use them, you'll be able to see other uses for C MIXOLYDIAN. It doesn't only fit with a C7 chord, it will also fit with those other types of chord that I just mentioned. Now if you really want to nail the MIXOLYDIAN mode, you need to know the arpeggio of the chord which you normally play it over. Now this sounds a bit confusing, so let me quickly dive in and say we're looking at playing C MIXOLYDIAN over C7 chord. So it makes a lot of sense to learn a C7 arpeggio at the same within that scale shape, so that when you're playing with the scale, you've got kind of a reference point of the notes that make up your C7 chord. Now this is where a lot of people go wrong. They just learn the scale and they just go up and down it, and their lines don't sound very musical. But if you start to really explore the sound of the notes that are in the C7 chord within the scale shape, you're going to take a big step ahead of a lot of other people with this. So this is kind of a little extra thing that a lot of people don't do, but really, really beneficial. So I'm going to show you how to play a C7 arpeggio. And for those of you that don't know, an arpeggio is simply the notes that make up a chord. So these are the notes in a C7 chord, arranged in a convenient fingering pattern going across the neck. Okay, so let's take a look at that now. We're going to play the 8th fret on the E string. Then it goes 7 to 10 on the A string, 8 to 10 on the D string, 9 on the G string, 8 to 11 on the B string, and 8 to 12 on the top E. And you can see how that fits within the scale. There we go. Arpeggio note, arpeggio note, arpeggio note, arpeggio note, and so on. So that's a really important thing with the improvising here. Make sure you don't neglect that arpeggio. Practice using that and then just add in the notes in the scale, and you'll see a very big difference in how you start using that scale. And your lines and your licks are going to sound much more musical much sooner. Now all these shapes I've just shown you are completely movable. Okay, the root note is on the E string, so the arpeggio shape and the C MIXOLYDIAN scale shape can be moved up and down the neck to get them in any key. Now if you're not sure how to do that, then you need to watch this video in my Essential Scale series, which shows you exactly how to move scale shapes with the root note on the E string up and down the neck to get them in a load of different keys. So I think that's about it today. So just to summarize, we've got a C7 arpeggio shape, we've got the C MIXOLYDIAN scale shape that fits around it, and we've seen how that scale and that arpeggio will go with a C7 chord or any other C dominant chord, such as a C9 chord or a C11 chord, a C13 chord, or a C7/4 chord. So there's some other possibilities there if you're into playing over those kind of chords. Now, don't forget to check out my other video, which shows you a bunch of MIXOLYDIAN licks. For that, I've actually moved up into the key of E, okay? So that's coming very soon. If it's not up already, check that out, and that will give you some kind of real-life examples of some musical stuff you can start to do with this scale. But other than that, I think that's about it. Don't forget, if you want the lesson notes for this lesson, then click the link underneath. You'll get my essential scale guide with the scale patterns and tab and everything for this video and all the other videos so far in this lesson series. So that's there if you want to get a little bit more out of these videos. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please give me a like. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos. And if you've got any questions or comments, leave them below, because I do check all my comments and I try to respond to them whenever possible. So that's all for me today, really. So thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you very soon in another one of my videos. So take care and bye for now.